and welcome to a very artsy edition of Trendz Travel, coming to you all the way from the Keys Art Mile right here in Rosebank, Johannesburg. The Nelson Mandela Bay Route 67 consists of the same number of artworks as the amount of years that Madiba fought for South Africa's freedom. It also has a 67-step stairway leading up to our national flag. And of course, Trendz Travel had to check it out.
The Nelson Mandela Bay in Port Elizabeth is more than its beaches and retro building structures. It is rich in history told through art on Route 67.
The Route 67 has got 67 pieces of public art that then symbolizes the 67 years. But also as you go through the Route 67, there's 67 stairs that will take you up next to the one, in fact, it's the second biggest flag in Africa. Then that shows the liberation that comes as you go through the route. But it's interesting as you start from it because there is what is called an area which is called the Campanile, which was to commemorate the landing of the 1820 settlers. So if you look at the history, the landing of the 2018 settlers and to the liberation in terms of the struggle against apartheid. So the route basically starts from where the processes of oppression started, but it goes through the processes where we had elections and we're finally liberated as a country from the apartheid regime.
You have to walk the route in order to experience every era of the history. The tour begins at the top of this building structure called the Campanile, an Italian word meaning a bell tower. So we walked up 204 steps to the top to meet the tour guide and officially begin the tour.
Baba, you made it! Let's give it a high five here.
You are standing here, you've got a 360 view of the city, of the bay. Remember, the bay is from Delagoa Bay, Algoa Bay, now Nelson Mandela Bay. On the right-hand side, you will see the stadium, 2010 Nelson Mandela Legacy Stadium. This side, that's where your Summer Strand, Umod, your upmarket residential areas are. And then up there is the Donkin, the lighthouse. That's where we'll be going.
Having walked 204 sets of stairs to get to the top leaves one feeling quite proud, and often many leave a mark of having been there. We also joined in and put our mark on the wall.
Okay guys, as you can see, we came, we saw, and we put our name on it. Trendz Travel was here the year 2020.
As soon as you step outside, you are greeted by artworks and boards detailing specific events of the apartheid era.
Madiba said, my mother could neither read or write, but he made an effort that a member of the clan was responsible for Madiba's. So the education was core. So it starts with this quotation and it goes up.
Yeah. All right.
This whole area, the youth participated in terms of expressing themselves. You'll see lots of graffitis under the bridge.
As you head closer to the lighthouse, you start to see more color. The pieces look alive, and the transformation is too visible, almost as though it's intended to get you to consider endless possibilities that you can only find in South Africa.
Madiba said, the time for healing of the wounds has come. The moment to bridge chasm that divides us has come. The time to build is upon us.
What I really appreciated was the art and just how creative everyone in this town is. But this right here is how you end a tour. Route 67, from all of us at Trendz Travel, we really appreciate the work that you do.
Our very own national culinary team will be representing South Africa at the oldest, largest and most diverse culinary competition in the world, the Jubilee aka Culinary Olympics. And of course, Trendz Travel had to be there to sample the foods that they'll be serving to the judges.
The Michelangelo Hotel in Sandton set the stage for a rather unique Olympic pre-event. Yes, Olympic.
Tonight is our gala dinner. It's basically our send-off dinner for the South African culinary national team. We are going to the Culinary Olympics in 2 weeks' time, and it's our last practice. We've been practicing for 2.5 years as a team, and everything has culminated into this evening at the Michelangelo Hotel. And we're hoping to give a great 3-course meal. We are doing the exact menu that we're doing at the Olympics in this part of the competition.
But what does the world-class menu look like?
It's a 3-course meal. We serve 110 people. We are serving salmon trout as a starter. We're doing a study of salmon trout. So we've taken all elements of the salmon and we've made it into different components onto the starter dish. We are doing a lamb dish as the main course. We've got a lamb loin, we're using lamb shank, and we're doing a whole bunch of butternut, cauliflower flans. We're doing some dried pancetta of the lamb belly, and we've got a little bit of a bean salad as well to go with the dish. So we love lamb. We know that the lamb is good in Germany, so that's why we're trying to stick with it. Our dessert is an incredible dessert. It's flavors of passion fruit and raspberry. I can't give too much away, but it doesn't seem like it works, but when we put it together on a dessert plate with some ice cream, with some baked puddings, some frozen parts, some cheesecakes.
So, how confident are our chefs in their finished product placement?
Gold medals. Gold medals, man. I can't wait to take our team there and hopefully we can get as close as we can to a gold medal. Understanding that when you go into the kitchen, you're given a gold medal. The judges come in and try and take a gold medal away from you. So you've got 9 hours to try and keep hold of your gold medal. So every mistake you make, they take marks away. So our medal is there for us to keep, but we've got to be able to be very careful in the kitchen and plating the food and preparing the food to make sure we can hold on to a gold medal. Gold is what we're there for.
Of course, the proof of the pudding is in the eating, and tonight the judging panel are all the invited guests.
I think the food was absolutely exceptional. I think the flavors complemented each and every dish. The contrasting flavors, the texture was absolutely incredible.
I think it's a wonderful marriage of flavors from all over South Africa. What they did with the food and putting together flavors that I wouldn't normally even imagine together was wonderful.
As we know, we eat with our eyes first and judge by these mouth-watering creations. Our SA culinary team are already winners.
Now we'd love to know what you've been getting up to in 2020, so let us know on Instagram or on Twitter. That's on Trendz on SABC using the hashtag SABC News.
Kwakwakusa. OTO time. Makrojnano. Quick time.
And lastly, I'm gonna need some proof of residence.
Yo, for every kind of serious, there's a glass of not so serious. Come fill yours with First Watch Whiskey. Get a 750ml bottle and a 1 litre Schweppes Ginger Ale for only $134.99. Only from Tops at Spar. Not for persons under the age of 18.
Ingoma is a Zulu traditional singing and dancing event that takes place in Msinga. And of course, Siphumelele Zondi was there to represent Trendz Travel.
Msinga in KwaZulu-Natal. It's a historic place that's known for what's termed the Bambata Rebellion. In the early 1900s, local chief Bambata Zondi led a rebellion against a poll tax that the British wanted to introduce here. They also were taking away land owned by Zulu people, led by the chief. British soldiers said they beheaded him for refusing, while some of the locals said he fled north. This year, organizers of the annual traditional dance and singing festival called Ingoma want to honor the hero. There are many such singing competitions that take place right here in the area of Msinga in KwaZulu-Natal. You'll probably identify it from Sepomtunu of Chuluga, who used to sing with Johnny Clegg. He taught it to the famous singer. Some came from far and wide, some of the major cities in South Africa, to participate in this particular competition. Ingoma yasemaqhunwini started as a method to foster unity in some of the areas here. It was after animosity and bitterness amongst some of the people that live in the area.
Zazingazani izigodi kodwa kuthe ekugcineni zasondelana zagcina sezizwene zonke izizwe zathi nanka amachunu asehlangene thina sehlulwa yini ukuhlala phansi sikhuluma.
Every year, different groups spend time rehearsing dances that be showing off here.
Nesikhathi okufuna ucompose khona uqala ingoma uyiqede uzoqopha ukuthi gidwa kanjani uhlanganisa amasosha abagidi bengoma bahlala indawo ehlukahlukene kufuna begibele beze kuwe la ukhona.
Once they've polished things up, it is then a show of skill in a neat and admirable manner. Spectators from far and wide pick their favorites too. All these guys here are here to support some of their friends and family. Some of them have their favorite groups as well that they will constantly, always make a lot of noise for. The success of this festival has even caught the eye of government.
Some of them, they are doing things that we used to see in TVs, in rural areas, in some of the events. You know, it makes us to remember that, you know, I'm the Zulu woman and I belong to the Zulu nation where I come from. And show our children and our grandchildren.
While it is mostly a man's affair, ladies also come in their everyday wear, the local traditional Zulu attire in its purest, undiluted form. The beauty of this has given birth to other similar festivals all over the Zulu kingdom. It truly is a beautiful spectacular that makes one wish they could also move with such precision, swiftness, and coordination. Such ceremonies are to check out when one is visiting Msinga.
Sculptor, writer, poet, and academic, Pitika Ntuli is an expert when it comes to African indigenous knowledge. Today we are at his new studios in Johannesburg to enjoy some drumming, African dance, and poetry. Judging by the number of traditional leaders present at this official ceremony, you'll be forgiven for thinking that this event was an occasion for a chief, when in fact it was to celebrate Professor Pitika Ntuli's new art space. The event was graced by a number of traditional healers. Because it is an artistic space, so anyone that had a song or a poem or anything they wanted to share with the audience was given the platform.
Freedom means very little when we remain chained to the bars of our solitary borders. For too long, dreams have been crammed up in dingy white suburbia backyards.
What started me was that my father was a priest, fire and brimstone preacher. and his brother was a big Sangoma. And the Sangoma uncle took over me in order to initiate me when I was little, but he was not telling me that he is initiating me. As part of my graduation, I was made to sit in front of a dead tree, and he wanted me to sit down there until the tree spoke to me. And I knew I was 17 and a half, that the tree will not speak to me. But after looking at it, and I said, suppose this tree was a human being, how would it look like? I looked at the branches, I began seeing arms, I began seeing struggles. I said, Viva! Then he said to me, oh yes, the tree has spoken to you. I work with stone, but I'm moving to another level now where I'm working with stone as well as metal. For instance, when you look at these are motorbike chains and bicycle chains. Why are they in the head? Because we, as African people, our minds are still chained. And the tragedy of it all is that this chained mind, chained with motorbike chains, and motorbikes are very fast, which means that we are fast-thinking people. And if we are fast-thinking people, why do we still feel we have got chains in our minds? So here, I'm doing part of the people that were massacred, particularly in the Eastern Cape, where we were killed and then massacred and burnt alive. So when you turn around this way, for instance, you see how large this body is. And the whole of this body is held just by one hand of the other people. That's when we speak real comradeship. But then when you get to politics, these are metal pieces that the trains go over. And these are gearboxes, diffs and pinions. And all of these are the tools that the workers use. So this is a tripartite alliance. The ANC, COSATU, and the Communist Party. One of them, of the three, has got brains. You can see how open the brains are. One of them, the brain is just peeping. Another one, the brain is completely closed. So I am not going to say, I value my freedom. I'm not going to say which of them has got an open mind, which of them doesn't. So in other words, part of recycling is part of it. The earth is suffocating. So in 1879, the English felt that the armies that Shaka Zulu had built reminded them of the wars that were waged in the Eastern Cape. More than 19 wars of national liberation, bringing people like Womakoma, like Womakanda, and the rest of those people. But this guy here, Cetshwayo, flanked by two of his generals, Mavumengwane Ntuli and Kodite Ntuli, and Chingwayo Kamahole, defeated the British. The worst defeat of the British in its colonial history. So we are capturing this history. We had our space in our own time. They invaded our space, reordered our time. It took us time and space to regain our freedom, balancing history and geography over and over again. This then speaks of that dispossession. As you can see, this necklace of chains here, a chain reaction, but the necklace is also a map of Africa. You can spend a lot of time without noticing this, but with art, you stay with a piece, you keep discovering things that are in it, because when you work on these things, you are not working with your conscious mind alone. You're working with your emotions. You are working with your subconscious mind. Something takes over you. You become a medium of a construction.
Coming up after the break, we take you to the marvelous world of Marvel Universe Live, where yours truly got to meet some of your favorite characters. Now, if you didn't know that Marvel Universe Live is right here in South Africa, then you've definitely been living under a rock. It has been the most talked about event for January 2020, and of course, we were there. Trendz Travel is at it again, bringing you one of our many firsts. And right now we're at the very first night of the Marvel Universe Live. And right with me I have Megan, who's the tour coordinator, who's going to tell us all about this spectacular night. Good evening, Megan.
Good evening, how are you?
I'm great, and yourself?
Yeah, I'm wonderful. Excited for the opening night.
So Megan, tell me, what can we expect to see here tonight?
This is going to be such a live action evening. It's a spectacular event. You're going to see 25 of your favorite superheroes and villains coming together to battle Loki and Yondu for the Wonderful Tomb, trying to save the universe.
And tell me, of course, like I'm already dressed in my attire. I am Natasha Romanoff. I am here. But I'm expecting that a lot of people are coming dressed in costume.
Yeah, a lot of the kids come dressed as their favorite superheroes. You know, they come and they find inspiration in the heroes on the stage, looking to see what they can do as they put all their time and practice into becoming something great as well.
Okay, now what does the show actually entail? Because there's a lot of jumping, acrobatics, and in our tour tonight, we saw a guy on stilts. I mean, like, how are they doing it?
They take years of practice. You know, some of them start as gymnastics, some of them start with martial arts. They all have a wide range of backgrounds, but they rehearse and they rehearse to bring the motorcycles onto the stage, the stilts, the combat fighting.
All the combat fighting is meticulously choreographed, from the kicks to the jumps and even the falls. Before the show, we get a taste of what it takes to be a combat fighter. And then it was my turn to get onto the mat and learn the punches that go into making a fight sequence look real. Okay, nice. So next, we're going to throw Brandon, but he's going to do all the work. So we just did our punch. He's coming at us with a haymaker. We're going to make eye contact. He knows I'm ready. I know he's ready, and you're just going to duck. After this, he's going to come at us with the back fist, and we're going to block with the muscly part of our arm. If you hit bone to bone, that hurts. Okay. So we just turn it out. And one other thing to notice, you're never going to hook your thumb, because then you can hurt him, you can get hurt yourself. So you're just going to place your hand right on top. And he's in complete control of this hold. So all you do is swing your arm down and step, strike a fight pose. He's going to make you look super, do a big fall. It's going to look great. After my tutorial, it was time to give the full sequence a go. More behind-the-scenes action entailed a sneak peek into the wardrobe and heavy masks worn by the performers. And even a crack at seeing if you're worthy to pick up Thor's hammer. One of my favorite activities, though, was learning to swing the blades used by Loki's army in battle with the Avengers and the Guardians of the Galaxy. It's not as easy as it looks.
It's a lot of different talents coming together to make the whole show a one spectacular piece.
Now, obviously, people who come here are generally always fans of the Marvel Universe. But how did the idea come about to take what we saw on screen and basically bring it live?
Yeah, we are set in our own universe, but you will see elements from the comics, and you'll recognize your characters from the movies as well.
You would not last one day in Wakanda. Black Panther, bring it your way.
When the show starts, you get a good background of the characters you're about to see, what the storyline is. You want to be here on time, so you get the background before all the action kicks off.
Our experience would not be complete if we didn't take you on stage for a photo op with the stars of the evening. Dashing Captain America, our Wakanda Forever Black Panther, And representing the warrior in every woman, Black Widow. In case you didn't get it, I had to let her know that I too was Natasha Romanoff.
Wow. Fantastic. Thank you very much.
And that's all we have here in this week's edition of Trendz Travel, coming to you all the way from the Keys Art Mile right here in Rosebank, Johannesburg. From me and the Trendz Travel team, it's welcome to February.